Alright, so continuing on with the modifications to the fueling system, we're going to do the hardwire kit from Dishworks. They give you quite a bit of wiring here. Now, this is kind of designed for a car with the battery in the front, so you got a lot of red and black wiring that's really long, whereas the rest of the wiring, the blue and the yellow from the relay, are short. So we're actually going to trim this up and mount it in the trunk, and we're going to reuse some of that red and black wire to actually route to the pump. Since we're not going to mount this very close to the pump, we're going to mount it closer to the battery in the trunk of the EVO 10. Let's go ahead and go in the back and pull the paneling off so we can get to the battery and show you what's next. Alright, so we're in the back. I'm going to go ahead and pull this cover. We also have to pull some of these push pins out so we can pull the whole cover out of the way. There's one here, there, and there that we're going to take out so we can remove the whole cover, make some room to do the wiring and run things. Alright, now that we've removed the black plastic piece that was all covering this, we're going to go ahead and mount the relay, which I've already done. So I found this tab right here that had a hole in it already, and I just found a spare bolt and nut and secured my relay right there. We're going to have to connect to the positive of the battery, which I probably shouldn't have touched with the wrench. And then down here there is a ground to the body that we're also going to connect to. So let's go ahead and get the soldering iron ready, and let's build a harness. Alright, so I got here pretty much everything we're going to need. I've got some random terminals at different sizes. We're going to need some ring terminals to ground this out. We've got the instructions, of course, wire cutters, wire strippers. We've got the soldering iron. This is a cordless soldering iron from Milwaukee that I'm going to use. It makes things easier. Got a couple spare nuts. These are 10mm sockets. I think they're, let's see, 8mm? No, 6mm screw size. So M6 by 0.1, something like that. Let's see, yeah, M6 by 1 fasteners. That'll help us ground the get power from the battery post. We've got some extra wiring here, and of course we've got the Dishworks kit. This part goes to the relay. Here's your positive fused for the battery. We're going to shorten all this. The first thing we're going to do is kind of lay out where we're putting all the wiring so that we can run it easily. And the instructions kind of show you up here how to hook up the relay. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I've trimmed up the negative lead to where it's going to ground to the vehicle. We're going to put a ground lug on this. And actually, the way I like to use these is people crimp them on. I prefer to solder them on. So we'll be soldering that on there. And also, the fuse holder length was way too long because this is made for a battery that's in the front of the car. EVO has it in the back, so the relay is going to be really close. So we went ahead and chopped this off. I'm going to reattach it here, solder that on as well, and heat shrink it. So we've got the beginning part of our harness, and we've got 2 more wires. One is going to go and power the pump. This is the yellow wire. The blue one, we need a signal from the original pump wiring to turn the relay on. In order to use these two, they come really short, so I'm going to go ahead and extend them, but I'm going to actually change the color because the wiring coming out of my pump housing is red and black for the pump, and the one we're going to tap into is blue. So I'm going to attach a red wire to this one to power the pump. I'm going to attach a yellow one to this one as the signal. And I'm just going to make those undetermined length. Just make them extra long because we're going to put everything in the car and then trim them to length and solder inside the car. Alright, we'll put some heat shrink on that and let's go route it through the car. Alright, so we've ran the wiring through the trunk over to the side, and now I've got it down here near the pump. What I'm going to do is I got this rubber grommet. I'm going to pull the two connectors back through, because what I want to do is there's some tape on here. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to run the black wire through here to go to the pump. So you see the two pump wires coming out. We got the start of those. The yellow wire is going to get soldered to a wire out here inside the cabin, which normally goes to the pump, that'll be used to flip the relay. Alright, so we've got our wiring routed. We've got the relay down there, mounted to a little flange that I found that wasn't being used. We haven't connected the positive lead yet. You want to do that at the very end. Run the wiring behind the battery. You can see the yellow, black, and red wires there. I've zip tied them out of the way. I have the black wires sharing ground with the battery right next to the battery tray. Then I've routed them through here, behind the seat, and into the cabin. So let's go over there. Alright. Now we have them coming out down here. As you saw, I wired up the pump. So we used the same grommet to go through for the pump. I kept the yellow wire out. This is the one I'm going to use as my signal wire. So we're going to tap into the blue wire in this bundle, and that's going to send the signal to the relay to make the relay flip over and send full power to the pump. Alright, so in this bundle we want to find the thick blue wire. That's the one we're going to splice into. I'm going to actually cut it because we don't have a stock fuel pump in there. And strip it. Ooh, that soldering iron is smoking. We got some heat shrink. Go get the heat gun and a cord and shrink that on there. Turn this sucker off. Alright, so last step. Let's go ahead and pull this back. Let's actually weave this through here. Last step. We're going to hook up the battery cable. In this case, I've actually got an extra nut. It's a M6 by 1. We're just going to put that on there to hold the terminal on, and our power is ready to go. We just need to flash the computer for the new injectors. I'm going to try to put this cover back over a little bit. See if I can get this out of the way. There we go. That's good. Alright, so the fuel pump is now wired in, and I just need to flash the ROM with the correct sizing for the injectors. But what I didn't realize was that when you change the fuel pump, you actually lose a filter. So the filter is actually built into that big old housing I removed in the video, and so we got to replace it. So I can't move forward right now. I have to wait until Monday when the rest of my parts come in. So I have some new fuel lines, and I decided to go ahead and upgrade to a regulator, adjustable fuel pressure regulator. And so we're going to be going back onto the fuel rail and changing stuff. I've got this Russell fuel filter, which we will throw in line to the feed, which it's a pretty high flow filter. It's a -6, so it'll fit on the lines that we already have installed. We just got 2 new -6 lines to interface this. And in the meantime, I'm just cleaning up this valve cover because I'm going to get this aluminum valve cover powder coated and slap it on there soon. Alright, so tune back in for the hopefully last installment of the fuel system mods. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.